Brilliant. Okay, so welcome everybody to a bit of a kind of information session for offer holders who are coming onto our Public Health Masters programme in January 2021. I'm Amy Beardmore. I'm a Research Associate in Public Health and Community Development on the team. I've worked in the Centre for Public Health and Wellbeing, where the team is based, since 2018 now. But prior to that, I was working at UE as well, but I also did the Masters myself, so I'm also alumni of the course myself. So hopefully I can answer some questions too if they come up. And joining me today, we've got two of our wonderful PALs. PAL stands for Peer Assisted Learning. Do you want to, well, I'll tell you what, why don't you two introduce yourselves, and then maybe you could just tell us a little bit about what PALs do. So Bidemi, do you want to go first?
Okay, my name is Bidemi and I'm on my master's in public health at the University of the West of England, like we know. And basically, PAL leaders stands like moderators, which that helps students to connect to the school resources. Like we do more of signposting. We signpost new intakes or year one students and help them to find their way around school. Basically, we help them incorporate into the school society organizations.
Yeah, oh, that's brilliant. Thank you. And Roseline, say hi.
All right, thank you, Amy. So my name is Roseline Mountain, and I'm an alumnus of Masters in Public Health UE. And so, like my colleague already said, that's POW is helping all the students we just need to incorporate them into the system. We are basically nurturers. We nurture them, and it's not just academically, we try to nurture them personally and emotionally as well. So that's what we do.
Yeah, and it's a paid role, isn't it? You can volunteer to do it, but you get paid for the hours that you put in. So
yeah, of course. Yes, we do.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, great. So we're jumping the gun a bit because we're going straight to the end of your kind of story, really, and kind of talking about your PAL journey and stuff. And so let's go back to the beginning now, and let's talk a little bit about kind of your guys' experience, I guess, of kind of, well, first of all, why you wanted to come onto the programme and why you wanted to come to UE Bristol. So what was the thing that kind of drew your attention to UE in the first place? Who wants to go
Okay,
first?
I'm going to go first. Yeah, I actually chose the University of the West of England after checking diverse universities course modules and outlines. And I realized that the course modules, the way it's combined is quite unique, and it definitely will meet what I actually want to become or what I want to derive out of the program. One of the courses that actually stood out for me was leadership in public health, because it actually attracted me, because I thought leadership in public health, what does this mean? What do they want to teach us? And some other course modules which you can hardly find on any other institution's module list. And that was why I chose UE.
Oh, that's great. And what about you, Roslyn? Was there anything that particularly kind of attracted you to UE?
My story is a bit different, because I didn't really search so many universities, because I have two siblings that already been to UE. So it was quite easy for me. They just recommended me to come to UE. And I had a sister that also did masters in public health in UE. So it was really easy for me to just come into UE. But besides that, I was really curious about some modules, like she said, leadership in public health, that's one, and public health economics. I was really curious about it because I really needed to know what it was about, and because I have a background in microbiology, I wanted to know what was the relationship between public health and microbiology. So I was really interested in that as well.
Oh, wow. Oh, so UE came recommended to you then? You were like,
yes,
what is this UE? I must know more.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really good that they were saying good things about UE as well.
Absolutely.
So can you just remind me what your home country was when you were applying? So Bidemi, you came, I think, from Nigeria, is that right?
Yes, my home country, Nigeria, the most populous country in Africa, the seventh most populous country in the world, and it's a country full of resources, full of people and cultures.
bit of Nigeria facts for us there. That's great, thank you. And
Yeah.
Roslyn, where did you apply from?
I'm actually from Nigeria as well, the giant of Africa. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. Okay, so you can very much give us the Nigerian experience of applying to the course then, so that's great.
Oh, definitely.
And what was your your kind of work background, or where did your interest in public health come from, either of you? Bidemi, do you want to tell us first? She's still there? She's gone.
I think she's half. Yeah.
Oh,
like I said, yeah. Do you want me to go ahead?
Yeah.
Okay, like I said, like I had a background in microbiology.
Yeah.
And I was just really, I wanted to know about the impact of microbiology in public health. Because I know, I mean, if we're talking about public health, we're talking about we're talking about microorganisms. They do all of, yeah, they cause all of this diseases and all of that. So I just wanted to find the connection between both. I didn't want to go off my career path. Yeah, so that was one of the reasons I really wanted to do public health.
Okay, that's interesting. And did it live up to your expectations, the course, when you came? Did you was it what you were expecting?
Okay, so when the program started, I was a bit confused because the first time there was nothing that had to do with microbiology. We weren't talking about microorganisms. We're not. It was bland. I'm like, okay, this is new. Of course it was going to be new, but then I thought it was going to be a bit flexible. But then when we got into the second term and we had to do health protection, I'm like, oh, there we go. That's what we're talking about. So it was really, yeah, that was where I started to pick it up and I started to connect everything.
Yeah, I think a lot of people maybe come to the course kind of with an idea of what public health is, but then it kind of opens your mind to so much more, doesn't it? Once you start doing those modules, you realise there's public health kind of runs through every thread of everything in our lives, really, to some extent.
Yes, true.
Yeah. Is Bidemi back? I think she might be having some connection problems. There she is.
Yeah.
We're just talking about what attracted you guys to public health in the first place, like what your kind of background was that kind of made you interested in public health, Bidemi.
Hey, my background was health education. That's where I had my BSc. And public health has been a field I've always been interested in. And if you know so much or a little about health education, you would know it is part of public health. Like public health is a big, like an umbrella, which health education is just like a sector under public health. And I have this desire for adolescents. I love adolescent health. I tried to look for courses around adolescent health, and I realized that the best course to do that would actually spread across all sectors is public health, because I can easily divert or into any other sector I really want to venture into. So I went for public health because broad, and there are a lot of things I love to do that I know that I can actually do. One of them is this health promotion, health like programs, organizing programs and intervention programs, and public health. It's the best solution. Like it will provide me to give me that platform to do those things, and that's why I chose public health.
Yeah, we're just saying it covers such a broad range of things, isn't it? It's only when you start kind of doing the program you realize kind of how extensive it is. That's great, thank you. So we should say as well at this point you're both at the very end, aren't you? You've both kind of done your dissertations and handed them in, is that right?
I have, yeah.
You have, yeah. So you're kind of in a really good position really to kind of look back over the whole program and give people information about kind of the whole journey through. But sort of again, going back to the beginning, what were your kind of expectations before you came here? Did you know anything about Bristol or about the UK in advance? Obviously, Roseline, you had family here already.
Yeah.
So did that help?
Yeah, definitely it did. It did, especially when it comes to accommodation. So yeah, that really it helped me. I mean, it took a burden off me. I didn't have to sort of look for accommodation or think about feeding. So that really helped me.
That's good. Made life easier. But what about you, Bidemi? Was it quite so easy for you?
Yeah, I actually have families here as well. So I never had issues with accommodations, but I just knew a little about Bristol. I know it's an ancient city, and I know it has a lot of histories attached to it. So there were a
Yeah.
lot of things that I really was open to see when I get to Bristol. So it's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. Were you kind of quite pleased when you got here? Did it kind of live up to those expectations?
Yes, yeah, I've been to the museum and
Mm.
some slave trade centers. I heard a whole lot of stories, and it's beautiful anyway. That's what I can say because a lot of diversities and cultural differences and a whole lot. So it's good.
Yeah, yeah, we like to think of ourselves as a kind of very kind of multicultural society in Bristol, I think, but obviously with that very kind of checkered past as well, which you've mentioned there. But yeah, so it's a really great place to be, isn't it? Lot going on, lots of kind of places to visit and lots of nice walks and things like that. So people should enjoy coming here. Um, Okay, so let's talk about the course a bit now. Because in an average week, what did your week kind of look like? What was your kind of, because you're both full time, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what days were you in, and how often did you study, that sort of thing? Rosalind, do you want to talk about your week?
Oh yeah, so I really loved the timetable because it was just twice a week. I really like to, yeah, I don't enjoy Monday lectures and all of that. So I like the fact that it was just Thursdays and Fridays and you get
Mm,
the all weekend to yourself and all of that. But because the course is quite voluminous, it's broad. You're talking about a whole different, you're going through all the phase of life. So it's a
mm,
lot to take in, so you need to always be on your toes. Like you have to be on your toes every time. You have to be one step or two steps ahead because you have the lecture notes. Just go ahead and read them. You have materials. You just need to keep doing the research. There is no slacking. You have assessments. You have so many things on the way. And I came in like 3 weeks before after resumption. So I had a lot of things to catch up with. So I
mm.
was buried in the library, literally.
Yes. Where's she gone? She's in the library permanently. That's where she lives
Yeah,
now.
honestly, yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I think that those 2 days or one day if you're part-time like I was can like initially seem quite deceptive, can't it? You're like, oh, brilliant, that's going to be easy 1 or 2 days a
Yeah,
week.
but
But
then you
yeah,
have
the rest,
so much to cover within the rest of the days. But it was okay,
yeah,
not too bad.
yeah, yeah, good. How did you find it, Bidemi? What was your week
Yeah.
like?
Like Roslyn said, the Thursday and Friday are just like the best days because you've got a whole lot of time from Monday to Wednesday. And like she said, I usually spend most of my times in the library because there are a lot of things that was never exposed to me. There were a lot of things I do not know before coming to UWE, and I try to build myself, like try to get information. And since the resources are available, so why can't I just stay there and just try as much as possible to grasp as much as I can? So I most times we meet at the library. We meet sometimes at the library where we sit to study, and it's beautiful. So
Yeah, because there's quite a community of international students on the course, isn't there? You know,
Yeah.
everyone mixes, but there is definitely that kind of real kind of sense of kind of togetherness for the people who've come from different countries, isn't there? Did you find that?
What did you say?
Did you find that there was a real kind of solidarity with the kind of more international students? You kind of formed quite strong bonds, or
Oh yeah, I would say so.
yeah,
Yes, we did. We did to an extent. Then
yeah,
COVID happened, but then we're
yeah.
good.
Maybe it's a different story, but yeah. So everyone's quite supportive, aren't they, of each other, and everyone's
Yeah.
kind of in a similar situation when they're international students. So yeah, that's great, brilliant. Okay, and did either of you have like a favourite module or anything that you found really challenging? Is the other thing. I mean, I
Okay,
personally found
so
quantitative quite challenging because I wasn't very good at maths at school. So that was a bit daunting for me.
yeah, That's true. Yeah, quantitative was it was challenging. I found policy and policy and politics. Yeah,
Politics.
Politics.
politics and
Yeah.
policy and politics. Yeah, because I'm not a fan of politics, so it wasn't settling with me. So I struggled with it a lot because I kept going back to my workshop, what's it called, the tutor for our workshop. I kept going back to him like, this, I still don't understand what you want us to do in this
Mm,
assessment. It was a lot, and I kept asking everybody like, do you understand it? Do you know? Because I just don't like politics, so it was a hard one for me to get along with. But at the end of the day, I mean, it was good. I enjoyed the assessments when I did it. I mean, I was open to a lot of understanding, so that was good.
yeah. Yeah. I have to say, even though I didn't like quantitative and it felt very uncomfortable to me, I actually did quite well in it in the end. So you can surprise yourself, I think, can't you? You kind of
Yeah.
you are understanding more than you think you are sometimes.
Hmm.
Yeah. What about you, Bidemi? Was there anything you kind of found particularly challenging or enjoyable?
Yeah, I actually loved health protection and health promotion. Health
Mm,
promotion was one course I really enjoyed because it exposed me to a whole lot of knowledge. I was able to develop a website, which I've never done before. I was able to do an online presentation, which I have never done before. Although we think COVID, we only see the bad part of COVID, like the challenging aspect of it, but then it brought out another dimension, like
mm,
doing an online recording, which was innovative and uploadable to our tutor.
yeah.
And I love leadership for public health because of the teamwork we actually had to engage in. We had to meet with other students. We had to sit down together and try to come up with a topic and try to present. Although COVID kind of affected, but it still came out beautiful. And the reflective essay aspect of it is something I
Mm.
make part of me. Like it's something why didn't I write a reflective essay? Why didn't I reflect on my day? Why didn't I reflect on my week? Maybe if I had written something down, maybe I would have been able to go through it. And so it's something that it's not just for the course, because most times students come to school and they just study, and after studying they just forget about everything they learned on the course. But this has really opened up my eyes to things that I can add to my day-to-day activities, and this can become part of my personal life. And that is
Yeah.
one interesting thing about public health in UE. And another thing I also find interesting about leadership in public health is that it gave me a structure. Like I said, I was attracted to that course from onset before joining UE, before coming to UE. I was attracted to the course, but it gave me an insight to what I really wanted to do. I used to
Mm,
think, talk about leadership, it's just empower, not about we. It's not about me, because I don't have money, I don't have what it takes to be a leader. But the course helped me to see the other aspect, the other side of leadership, which is something I really appreciate. So there were other courses I enjoyed as well, but I found some course kind of challenging, which is
mm,
economics. Like I struggled to the last minute. I actually had to go to different people, had to ask, can you help me with my health economics? Explain this to me. The mistake I made, which other students usually make as well, is that we don't go to the lecturers. We don't go to our lecturers. We don't want to talk to them. Like, we don't want to just confront them. We decide to go to our fellow students and to ask
yeah.
them questions. Okay, I need you to help me with this, which is kind of a disadvantage, although it's part of
Mm,
our background, especially when you come from African countries where you, in some institutions, I'm not saying all, where you don't have access to your tutor or your lecturer, and you might think of that same, you might have the same mindset and not want to walk up to your tutors. So I enjoyed the course basically, and that's just,
yeah. No, that's great. Yeah, and I think maybe not just an African thing. I think a lot of people are kind of too scared to kind of ask the lecturer because you might be exposed as being being stupid or silly or whatever. But actually, there's no kind of, a lot of it, there's no right or wrong answers as well, quite a lot of the time, because a lot of it we're debating and we're exploring issues, aren't we? So yeah. And also I think you've just really touched on the kind of the breadth of the course and like how there's something for everyone, because as you said, you weren't sure about a few things to start with, but actually it opened your eyes to some areas and into ways that you can kind of bring methods into your kind of day-to-day work and for the future when you apply for jobs and so on. So yeah, that's great. And you mentioned the lecturers there. How did you find the lecturers on the programme? Roseline, do you want to say a bit about the lecturers and the staff on the programme? But I mean, don't let the fact that I'm sitting here don't feel you have to say anything nice.
No, of course. The staff are really sweet set of people. They are really extremely supportive. Like, they are supportive to a fault. That's how they are supportive. Like, they just want you to be the best that you can be. Every lecturer for every module, and they really want to help you. So if you have a challenge, just walk up to them, and if they cannot exactly help you or directly help you, they signpost you to who they think can be of great help to you. So I really enjoyed the company of my lecturer, even though I withdrew from trying to walk up to a lot of people, because I mean, that's the mindset I had coming from my country. So I've never really walked up to so many lecturers. But when I got to a point that I felt I was stuck, I knew I needed to walk up to somebody. I needed to talk to somebody. I needed to voice out where it was hurting me, so I could get the help that I needed. And the lectures, like I already said, like the course was really broad, so there was a lot to take in. So having lectures from 9:30 to 4:30 is a lot, and each module had so much in them, like economics. And economics was just, I think, was just on Friday morning and afternoon.
Yeah.
And economics wasn't my favorite course, my favorite module, to be honest. So it was once we're done with the 9:30 to I think 10:30 lecture, my brain is gone.
Yeah.
I'm done for the day. So the rest of the lecture is just, I'm just sitting in class and I'm bland because I don't understand what's going on. But yeah, having gone through the assessment and taking time to do my research, at least I can say I understand, even if I didn't listen to most of the afternoon lectures because I didn't know what to do. The workshop did help. That was one thing that really helps, because I mean, even if you didn't understand, when you begin to talk amongst yourself, you begin to remember some things that were said in the lecture. So that really helped. And
yeah, that's a really important point, actually, isn't it? Because we have the lectures, but we also have most modules have like a seminar or a workshop where you kind of can talk through some practical examples. And for me, when I was doing the course, that really brought it alive, especially in things like quantitative health research, where you're really struggling to get grasp some of the kind of statistics and stuff. When you've got an example to work through, I found that really helped me. So yeah, and if you do get stuck, there is support available as well, isn't there? I think there's kind of lots of on-site help at UE that we can direct you to if you're struggling, if you find numbers quite difficult, things like that, maths, then there's support. But also, as you say, it can be very intense that whole day, especially if it's a whole day of a subject that you're not particularly keen on. And of course, now we have COVID, so we're going to be doing quite a lot of it online, at least to start with, which can be quite intense. But Bidemi, did you say that you'd had experience of some kind of online teaching?
Sorry.
Have you actually had some of your kind of your teaching online towards the end of the masters? Was some of it online during COVID?
No, but some of these courses were uploaded, and we can always go back to it to just refresh our memories and revisit what we taught.
Yeah. So going forward, I think probably obviously we're going to have to do almost everything online. There'll be some face-to-face, we hope. But yeah, we will really try and make those sessions quite a lot shorter for people, because as Rosaline's just said, even kind of sitting down in the lecture theatre, it's quite a long time. So, and it can be even more intense online, can't it? So yeah, we will try and break those up a bit so it's not quite so full on for people. Okay, brilliant. That's fantastic. Thank you. Okay, so did either of you have to kind of access any additional support during the time you were there, like espresso maths and things like that? Did you access any of that? Have you got any experience of that?
Like, what did you call it?
Yeah.
Espresso maths, you can do like extra kind of sessions to kind of support you with the quantitative things and things like that. Did you, Bidemi?
Yeah, I accessed the library for reflective writing. So yeah, there are just a lot of resources available and a lot of assistance provided by UWI, which we can always book online. We can always book, and we would definitely.
Yeah, that's great. And what about did you either of you join any UE clubs or societies while you're there? Because we've got the Students' Union, and I think there's a Public Health Society now as well, isn't there?
Yeah, so we are one of the pioneers of the Public Health Society. So yeah, we had to write a letter and make sure we followed through. Actually, we're part of it. Our president is Adeyemi, so he came up with the idea, and I mean, we contributed to it, and now we have a Public Health Society.
Brilliant. And what are the aims of the as one of the pioneers? Can you tell us a little bit about what it means, what it involves, the Public Health Society? What can people expect?
Well, basically, we just hope to, be able to bring everyone together, where for networking, networking is really an important part of everybody's life. So we just want everybody to be able to network both academically, professionally, and I mean socially. So you won't just feel left out, or maybe you're missing some information that you should be getting. So I mean, that society brings us together. We become like a family, where I mean, just to connect everybody together and see that everybody's doing great.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? I mean, even kind of as alumni, I think you still for quite a while afterwards get included in kind of like information about jobs that are available locally and things like that. And we've also got a Facebook page and a Twitter page, so there's loads of stuff. There's the Public Health Society, but then there's all that other stuff as well. So we really kind of look after our alumni and make sure they're kind of kept in the loop about lots of different things. So that's good. Great. Okay, so we talked a little bit about being a PAL leader earlier, didn't we? I don't know if you've got anything else you want to say about your experience as a PAL necessarily. Is there anything that we haven't mentioned? Damien, did you have something?
Yeah, well, when I came in, I'm happy I'm one of the PAL leaders, because when I arrived 3 weeks after resumption, I didn't even have the slightest excuse me, I didn't have the slightest idea there was something like PAL.
Yeah.
Because I was really far behind, so I was just focused on, getting on board, because I had to catch up and I still had to be in the process with what was going on in class. So I didn't know there was anything like PAL. Fine, I did see it in the library, but I never thought like, okay, what's this really about? So I mean, if I had known and I had gone there for a session and asked for help, maybe I wouldn't have gone through a lot of challenges during my program. So I'm really glad there's something like that. We have the opportunity to, I mean, prepare students, prepare them mentally and academically for what is going to be what they are going to experience in this masters in public health, and just, I mean, so that they just don't get stuck anytime, and even if they do, they know that okay, they have the support available for them at any point in time. So I'm glad I'm one of the leaders.
Yeah. In addition to what Roseline said, I struggled a whole lot when I joined the program. I actually struggled because I am not the kind of person that goes about like I said earlier, I don't go to lecturers, and I don't know that I could actually have access to some of this information like the library, like the well-being services provided by UE and other societies like this. I'm sorry, it skipped my mind now. Yeah, but there are a lot of things I didn't know, which I ought to have known, or which I'm supposed to know. And this this PAL section or leading in the PAL would has given me an insight. So I want to pass that knowledge of those things I have actually experienced, those things I have learned over time, passing it to new intakes and to let them know that there are provisions available to you. Because if you can't access it if you don't know it. If I
Yeah.
was posted like to library, well, as soon as I came in, I know that there is absolutely a sector where I can actually sign in and just go for essay writing trainings and all other help made available by UE. It could have helped my experience and it could have made it more interesting. So that's why I signed up for PAL.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's a real journey through there, isn't there? From you kind of being real unsure and not wanting to ask to eventually you've become a pal yourself, both of you, and you're then in a position to help those new people coming in who perhaps feel like that as well. So that's great. So is that kind of, I was just about to ask you what advice you would give to our new cohort who are about to join us. Is that obviously that I think that would probably be one thing, wouldn't it? Would be to ask for help, don't sit there in silence. Is there anything else that you would kind of say, any top tips or anything kind of you would
Oh,
want to say
definitely.
to you?
So one thing is you should have it at the back of your mind that there is help for you everywhere. You need to get help. You just need to ask questions. You just need to ask people. If you're too scared to ask your lecturers or you're too scared to ask the library people, you could just send an email. Go to the information point. You get all this, like there's so much information out there, and if you don't take advantage of it, you lose out so much than you can even imagine. And they should also have it at the back of their mind that find when you start it's going to be really overwhelming.
Yeah.
You'll be this close to losing it, but then you just you just need to keep
No,
you
it's good to
just
be
need to
honest.
you just need to keep going, take it one
Yeah.
step at a time, one step at a time. And try to take breaks, because at times when you're reading for so long, you just realize that okay, I don't even understand what I'm doing again. Just take a break. The break you're going to take does not mean you are wasting your time instead of you to be catching up on doing other things. No, take breaks, have lots of fun. Go out, socialize with people. Don't just be buried in your book. Of course, everybody wants to have good grades and all of that, but you also need to make connections. You need to make network. You need to connect with people, develop healthy relationship with people, because you never know who is who. And this life, we are all connected one way or the other. So just be there for one another, while be a shoulder and let other people be a shoulder onto you as well. It's a
Yeah.
journey, and you can't just go through the journey on your own. So you need people. You need people to pull you up when you're down. So don't feel like you're a burden to other people when you ask for help. It's usually not like that, because I usually feel I'm a burden when I ask you for help. I feel like I'm about to inconvenience you, but in the real sense it's not. That's just me in my head. So
Yeah. I
and
think
have
that's
a
brilliant
good
advice, and I think
ride.
that's brilliant advice, not just for the course, but just in general. I think because
Yeah.
I'm exactly the same as you. Kind of don't ever ask, and then I kind of think, well, why is no one asking me? It's like, well, because I haven't actually told anyone that something's wrong. So I think that's really good advice. And I think also we should say that UE has loads of help on offer in terms of health and well-being and mental health and well-being.
Yeah.
We've got loads of sports facilities if that's how you kind of de-stress at the end of the day. There's a sports gym on site, and there's loads of stuff like that. But at UE, we must stress mental health is really, really important, and especially at the moment, self-care. You're absolutely right. Looking after yourself extra important. So we're all here to help with that side of things as well. Bidemi, did you have any advice that you'd give on top of Rosaline's lovely contribution?
Yes, in addition to what she said, you just have to calm down. You don't have to fidget, and just put in your best as much as you can. But you also have to use every resources made available to you. The library is there for you. The information point, you can also use the health center when you feel there is also well-being services available. And if you also need other information, you can get them at the information point. Even the international student services, there are loads of resources made available by UWI, and I want I would advise you familiarize or you familiarize yourself with the website, your Blackboard. Try to explore it. Through exploring, you tend to find out more about more about the things, the resources that have been made available. Read your course modules before you start your program, so it would give you an insight of what you should do. Your assignments, try as much as possible to go over every question, everything that is being said, because that is the mistake. That's some of the mistakes I made. You have to read what your lecturers want, what is expected of you. So those are the things that would help you to build how you would answer your question. You don't have to just look at the question and just try to answer it out of the blues. There are instructions there you need to just follow, and it would really help your experience. So don't be overwhelmed. Don't stress yourself too much like you are going to die. It's not a do or die affair. Just a step at a time. You would end up realizing that it's something you can actually do. Set goals. Time management is also a particular place you should focus on and pay attention to, because it's one of the places I struggled with. You need to have a targeted or a specific time for everything you need to do. So when you have your time, try to meet up to those times and try to manage your time well, because if you don't, it will definitely tell at the end of it all when you want to submit. And so those are the things I'll just add to what Roslyn said. And enjoy yourself. There are lots of beautiful places in Bristol. You can just go out, Google, search for places around, beautiful places, nice places in Bristol. So you enjoy yourself and you have other experiences. Meet people, interact, talk to people, talk to your lecturers. They do not have fire on their head. If you understand what I'm saying, if you're from Africa, you understand what I'm saying. They do not carry fire on their head, so you can approach them. They are approachable, they are friendly, and they also want you to come to them to talk to them about what challenges you might be encountering. So that's just why I just have to add to what Rosin said.
That's brilliant advice from both of you. And I think I just add to that, just being, as you kind of alluded to a bit there, I think it's just being really organized as well, like with your notes and stuff, making sure you've got a system for kind of keeping the notes separate for each module and keeping them nice, and buy yourself some nice stationery, that sort of thing. So yeah, that's brilliant.
If I had something?
Pardon?
I said, do you mind if I just had something?
No, go ahead, please.
So if so I don't know, it works for some people, but not everybody. If you can have a timetable, so you know what you're doing every day. It didn't work for me. I don't work with timetables. It didn't work for me. But it could work with other people. I study based on my instincts. It's what I feel like studying, I study. So whatever works for anybody. But if timetable is gonna work for you, I mean, you could adapt that. And lots of workshop, especially critical writing, because you'll be doing a lot of critiquing. So you need to know what it means to critique. Because before I came to UWI, I thought critiquing just meant looking for the bad in the article or whatever. But now I know it has to do with both the strength and the weakness. So you won't get it all wrong from the scratch, thinking, oh yeah, I know what critiquing means. You need to go for a workshop. I had to go for a workshop in Glenside because there was none at Frenchy. So I took time to go to Glenside for a workshop in critical writing. So take time to do all those things.
Yeah, Another great tip, because yeah, we do get quite a lot of students who come and they just are very descriptive in their writing, and actually at this level we're really looking for that critical analysis, as you say, and kind of that ability to kind of really kind of look critically at what's going on. And you can start doing that now. You can start reading how newspapers are framing things about COVID, you know, or public health issues in general, and just start thinking whenever you hear about public health in the news or wherever, about what's being said, where the facts are coming from, what their sources are, and so on. So yeah, you can start getting into that mindset now ahead of January 2021 if you're about to start the course. Okay, so just to finish up, because I think we're kind of coming towards the end, can you just tell us a little bit about where you guys are now and what your plans are and what you're going to do with your masters now you've got it? So Bidemi, what's your plan?
Okay, like I said, I am so interested in adolescent health, and with the help of leadership in public health, I know I am good enough to start a foundation, like an organization, a non-governmental organization that specifically look into adolescent sexual and reproductive health and their mental health as well, because I grew up in a place where some of this informations or some of this are neglected. So an adolescence is like a critical stage in every individual's life. It would tell the kind of life you definitely live at the end of it all, because this is the most vulnerable stage of everyone. So if one can easily scale through, if one can scale through without disrupting some other parts of their life, like getting some diseases during this stage or other things that would later affect their well-being in life. So if we can prevent all of those from happening, so we can actually do a whole lot with this. And I specifically want to start something with adolescents. So I'm basically planning myself on how to go about the whole thing back in my home country. So it's one aspect I am looking into. Also, I'm going to get a job, because it's not just going to be the only thing I would do. So I would get a job in public health field. But for now, I'm working on the organization, on how to build it and how to make it stand out. And
Brilliant.
yes.
That's great, really exciting. And Rosalind, what's your plan?
Yeah, so I haven't finished with public health now, and even though I came with the background of microbiology, everybody would think, oh, okay, I'm just be looking at the health protection aspect of it. In as much as I really like that aspect, I think I'm really particular about health improvements now, talking about healthy behavior. So starting with your diet and exercise. So that is what I'm really focusing on. And I mean, putting a lot of application out there and hoping one turns out. I hope I can work with World Health Organization or Public Health England or NHS, anyone really. But I'm looking out for people being conscious of what they put in their mouth, because everybody just think, oh yeah, it's just a donut, let me just grab it. No, it's not like that. There's more to it. So, and the rate of obesity is increasing, so we need to curb that. Yeah, so that's what I'm looking at.
Yeah, brilliant. Oh, that's fantastic. And yeah, we should say our graduates do kind of, like, we've got a very high graduate employability level, so people do tend to just go into jobs more often than not, and we've got very few who don't. So that's great. So best of luck to both of you in what you do now. And it's been absolutely lovely talking to you today, and really informative, I think, for anyone who's coming to join the course in 2021. So really helpful. So I'm going to stop recording our conversation now, but thank you very much, ladies.
Thank you, Sue.